You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go.
Welcome, friends, back to the Grantcast. My name is Grant Baciocco, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you here today, listening, downloading, joining in on the fun. I want to send a special thank you to everybody who is listening, and a special thank you, that's two specials, to, I better put three, so that people don't think like two specials make something not special. A special thank you to all the Patreon patrons from Saturday Morning Media. You will find out more about that at the end of the show. Now, here's the thing. For the Grantcast, for this show, I have a little note in my notes app, and it just says Grantcast. And then I keep little topics in there. And I have like a bunch of topics like, oh, this might be a possible thing. This might be a possible thing. But there's a little section at the top of the note where it's like, these are the things I want to talk about the next time I record a show. So the first thing on that list says, I love pecan pie. There's no explanation about why I wanted to talk about that on this episode of the show, other than to say, I love pecan pie. There it is. I do like pecan pie. There must have been some story or something about pecan pie that I am not remembering when I added this to the list, but it is on the list, so I must say it. I love pecan pie. Speaking of eating, we have a restaurant locally here. They are a chain. I don't know how big of a chain they are, but it's called Sharky's. And Sharky's is, what do they call it? Fast casual. So it's not fast food. It's fast casual. So it's like a step up from fast food. And Sharky's is Mexican food. So it's burritos, all the general stuff you'd have, quesadillas, tostadas, everything. But then they also have sort of this fresh menu or whatever it is where they have like salads and they have like these crazy big, it's like tortilla pizza crust, but they're pizzas. But they're on like if you flattened out a tostada and then made a pizza on top of it. But then they have these great things called power plates where it's just chicken, or they do have vegan options too, but it's like chicken or steak and then vegetables. And it's called a power plate because it's like just the good stuff. And I usually go there, I have a power plate. Anyway, I've been going there for years and years, and to this same exact one in Toluca Lake. And I went in there today and they had this little sign for something new that they had. And the new things they're called bites. And there's two different kinds. There's like a Sharky spice on it bites. And then they have sweet bites. And they also have on the menu this new super crispy fried quesadilla. So it's a quesadilla, but they really just fry up the tortilla. So the tortilla is almost like I was talking about, that tostada shell. And that's what they're making the thing out of. So there's these new bites, and one set of the bites is called Dilla Bites, and that's the one with the Sharky's thing on it. And then the other one are called Sweet Bites, and the Sweet Bites are cinnamon and sugar. So I'm sure you've seen them. I don't remember the name of them, and I apologize for that. But like they're basically tortilla chips covered in cinnamon and sugar, right? So I saw those, and those looked interesting. And the woman behind the counter, I'm giving her my order, and I go, oh, how are these new bites things? And she goes, she doesn't look up, but she just goes, oh, they're doing well. But she doesn't answer my question. And so I take that as, don't order these, because if you know, like, she was not saying they're horrible, but just her reply of me saying, you know, oh, what are these like? And she's like, oh, they're doing well. And just in that totally flat, non-exciting way, I was like, okay, just give me the power plate, whatever, and we'll be good. So I sit and I have my lunch. And then I was like, you know what? I want to try these sweet ones. I love a little something sweet right after, you know, I've had something savory. So let me get these little sweets. So I go up and I order an order of the sweet bites, thinking that what I was going to receive is tortilla chips, those fried tortilla chips covered in cinnamon and sugar. Friends, what I received was, it's 2 tortillas. Now they're chips. They're like chips, so they're cut into triangles. But it's 2 tortillas with cheese in the middle, like a Mexican blend of cheese, with cinnamon and sugar on them. And when I picked the first one up out of the bag, I was like, did they do the wrong order? Did they not prepare this correctly? And then I looked and I was like, no, this is what this is. This is 2 tortillas, Mexican blend cheese in the middle, cut up into triangles, and then covered with cinnamon and sugar. Now, I used to go to Bob's Big Boy on a regular and meet with this sort of film club. And one of the guys there once ordered apple pie, heated up, with a slice of cheddar cheese on top. And I tried it, and I love it. So, I am not poo-pooing the idea of something sweet with cheese. But this was not what I was expecting. And it comes with a side of chocolate dipping sauce. So, I bite into this thing, and it's not bad. It's not like, I'm going to spit this out because this is horrible. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's rubbery cheese, Mexican blend cheese, but then cinnamon and sugar. So it's sweet, but it's weird because the cheese is a little chewy. And then I tried it with the chocolate sauce. Now listen, there were only like 5 chips, so I ate the whole thing. But I think I should have listened to my gut instinct when the woman said, well, they're doing okay, when I asked her how they were. Because, yeah, I don't think I will be having these again, because it was just weird. It was just a weird thing. Now, maybe I'll try the ones with the Sharky's spice on it, because that sounds more like what I would expect. But these were very strange to have cheese and cinnamon and sugar. I think I've talked about here before. In fact, I even think, what was it, the 200th episode or something was a tribute to me at the barber shop or something. No, anyway, I did talked about here about going to the barber, and I go to this barber, and the barber is great. And this one barber I go to, I've gone to her for so long. She just cuts my hair perfectly. And as long as she keeps letting me know where she's working, I will keep going there and getting my hair cut by her. But I went there and had a great time just sitting chatting with her, and she's cutting my hair. And I'm about to leave, and she goes, "Would you like a hat?" And I go, "A hat?" And she goes, "Yeah, I didn't give you one of our barbershop hats." And I said, "Oh, I like hats. You know, I wear hats all the time." I go, I'll take a hat. So she hands me this hat, and it's got the logo for the barbershop on the front, nicely embroidered, totally awesome, and just really, really great. And I was like, wow, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you so much for, for doing this. And she's like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I always post a picture of my haircut and tag them. And like the couple times that I've done that and I've gone in there afterwards, they're like, thank you so much for helping us spread the word. It's amazing. And so I tagged them and I said, I got a great haircut and I also got a hat. And then I was thinking that a hat is not a great promotion for a barbershop, right? A hat is not the best promotion for a barbershop, because a barbershop, the best promotion is a good haircut. And I always get a good haircut there. You don't want to say, oh, he has a good haircut and put a hat on it. But I was very happy that I got this hat, and I was very excited to have this hat. Speaking of hats, I went to Party City. I was looking for a Santa Claus hat. Now, I was looking for a Santa Claus hat that could fit on a puppet. And they have several. They already have all the Christmas stuff all out. I mean, it was out, it was actually, they started putting it out before Halloween. But they have all this stuff out. And I'm looking around at all the different hats. And they have a kid's Santa Claus hat. And it is $1.99. $1.99. And it's for smaller heads. But I was like, I wonder if there are smaller hats, because I think I remember getting one before. And I look down the aisle a little bit further, and there is Santa hats for dogs. And they're just a little bit smaller, and they're the perfect size to fit on a regular humanoid-style puppet head, right? The kid's hat would fit, but you might need to pin it a little bit in order to make it fit perfectly. This hat is just great. It's fantastic. That hat for dogs, smaller, less fabric, $6.99. $5 difference from a kid's hat, which is bigger, more fabric, to a dog. And it's the same quality whatsoever. And it's like, that is the pet tax. That is, they mark it up because they know people will pay more money to put a Santa hat on their dog. Now, this hat's too big for Harvey, so Harvey's got nothing to worry about. I am not going to put a Santa hat on him. Anyway, I got that hat, and I brought it to the front, and I'm checking out, and the guy at the counter says, "Did you find everything okay?" And I say, Yep, I just need to get this hat. And he goes, "Okay, great. Could you enter in your email address, please?" And I was like, "No, I just want to buy this hat." And I don't know why I say that other than that's what happened, is they wanted my email to track my Santa Claus hat purchases. All right, here's the last thing I want to talk about today. And I'm going to say up front, this is a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject, and I'm just going to freely talk about my feelings on this subject. And I understand, I will say this is my opinion. These are my opinions. And it's okay if you don't agree with my opinions. I'm not saying these things as facts. They may come out as facts in the way that I state them, but these are just my feelings, and this is something that I wanted to talk about. And what I wanted to talk about was AI, artificial intelligence, and mainly using AI in creative situations. There's been a lot of talk recently about ChatGPT and about DALL-E, and Adobe Photoshop has their Firefly, and all these different image generations, text generations, all these things. Now, as someone who works in the creative field, I'm very much at the start, I was like, no AI, absolutely no AI at all. And I still firmly believe that they shouldn't scan you as an actor into AI and then use an AI robot of you in a movie without you getting compensation. Okay, I understand. That is my view on anything. But there's all these AI tools now, and privately here at home, I have been fooling around with these because I'm like, well, I got to see what these things are and what they do. And I've come to an interesting sort of realization about them. And that is, I play a tabletop wrestling game. I've played it for years. You can find, I do a podcast about it. I have a whole YouTube channel about it. And I started thinking, I'm like, well, you know what? I want to make an image of what this futuristic sports arena looks like. Now, I'm not an artist. I can't sit down and do it. I can't sit down and draw. The other thing is, I have very good friends who I can and have in the past pay to draw and make that art. Or I can go to Adobe Photoshop or DALL-E or whatever, type in what I want, and they will give me back a picture of a futuristic looking sports arena. Now, these things that I do, when I make these things, they are for me. They are not, yes, I put them up on a website that has my results, but I don't sell them. I'm not making money off of them. And if I did want to draw an image for something that I was going to sell, I would go to a friend and I would pay them to make it. And I do that all the time with Toily's t-shirts. Like, I would never release, at least right now at this current moment, I would never release a Toily t-shirt that had AI generated artwork on it. Because I don't think that is great. Now, for some of the poop word of the day videos for Toily, Stephen has generated AI backgrounds. The main background I use, the yellow background that we use in those videos, was drawn by my great friend Seth Robinson, who I met working on Mystery Science Theater 3000. That is a piece of art that I paid somebody to make. But when we get into like the holidays and we want to do a festive bathroom background, we have used AI art. And I feel okay with this because I wish that I could pay Seth to draw a Christmas bathroom and to draw a Thanksgiving bathroom and to draw a Super Bowl bathroom or whatever the holiday is. I wish I had enough money to pay him to do that, but I do not have enough money to pay him to do that. So it's very simple to use these. It's in the background of a video. We're not passing it off as a real bathroom. And Toily is in front of it. So if that offends you, I'm very sorry about that. I think that is an okay use for AI. Now, the other thing I will say is that I have been playing around a lot with this website called Suno. And it's a website and it's also an app. And Suno is really interesting to me because what Suno does is you type in the description of a song and it will create you that song, literally like in a minute. So you're like, oh, I want a blues song with a female voice singing, and it's a blues song about how there's no more peanut butter. And you wait a minute, and then all of a sudden you have two different versions of a song that have this. Now, the first time I found this, I started playing around with it for like a half an hour, and I thought, this is amazing. This is so much fun. I was writing songs about Harvey. I'm writing songs about Toily. I'm writing songs about John. I'm writing songs about the dumbest stuff in the entire world. And about 30 minutes into it, I said, this is scary. Like this is frightening because I immediately thought, if you have a film production company or a television production company, and you have a scene where two people are driving in a car and you just want the radio on in the car while the two people are talking, but it doesn't really matter what the song is, you could use this website. Even if you pay the monthly thing, which is like $10 a month, you can commercially use those songs. You can do that. So I see, ooh, that is not good for people who write music for those things. Now, I think that in most TV and film productions, there's so much of a synergy between the music division and the TV division that there's no way they're going to use an AI track when they have some up-and-coming artist who they can put into the thing and then get exposure for that artist. I don't think that's going to happen. But if you need a song for something, it's really great. And I'll tell you this, one of the other things about Suno is you can make a song in a style that has, like a country song, a blues song, a rock song, a 80s synth pop song, but you can not put lyrics on it. And then boom, instantly you have improv tracks. For someone like me who does song improv, you have improv tracks that you can create any style you want to sing over the top of. And it's pretty amazing. And I will tell you, I have ChatGPT. I run things through ChatGPT all the time. Now, do I use every absolute thing that ChatGPT says? No, of course not. And I wouldn't. But it's good to throw things at and brainstorm. There are AIs now that when you tell them, I want to build an app that does this, they will help you build that app. And I was even thinking like, I could go to one of these coding AI things and say, I want to build an app for Toily that, it's like an RSS feed, but that gets all of Toily's YouTube videos and puts them together in one app. Now, I could pay somebody to do that, but I don't have the money to pay somebody to do that. And if I can use one of these websites to do it and I can commercially release it and all that kind of stuff, I think that's great. There is a podcast by my friend, Dan Wright, who's Easel Monster, and it's called There Might Be Robots. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And I really, listening to this podcast, and it's Dan and a friend of his talking about AI and the different things about AI. And Dan is an artist. Dan hand drew comics for years. And he's talking about AI, and they brought up a really interesting point. And the first point is AI is here. It's not going anywhere, and we have been using it for years. When you type into Google, how do I blank, and it fills in, it does that autofill, it gives you that list of autofill, that is AI. If you go to a website like Priceline and look for flights, and you're saying, I want this and this, that is AI that calls up those flights and looks for available tickets. Apple has now baked in AI, Apple Intelligence, brilliant way to co-opt the initials AI, Apple Intelligence into the iOS phone now. So AI is everywhere. And one of the points that was brought up on the podcast was that when YouTube first launched, the creative industry was like, whoa, wait a minute. You can upload anything? You can upload TV shows? You can upload movies? This is going to ruin the television industry. And what happened was YouTube started getting sued all over the place. And then Google bought YouTube and saved YouTube because it realized that it was a good thing and made deals with all those content providers. Now, of course, we don't know where these AIs are trained of. That is the problem. And there's going to be lawsuits about it, I'm sure. And I'm sure there already are lawsuits about that. But I think AI is here to stay. And I think we should not embrace it, not like welcome our robot overlords. But I think for me, I am going to look at AI as a tool to help me be creative. And I'm not looking to recreate a video of President Biden saying a dirty joke. I'm not looking to do that. But I'm looking at, I need a background for this video. I need to make a title for this video. I need to make, I'm making a flyer and I need to make an abstract background for this flyer. I think there's uses. And I stumbled upon this the other day is when thinking about this AI, I kind of feel about AI like I felt about podcasting when I first heard about it. And I'm not saying like I'm a Nostradamus or anything like that, but what I'm saying is when I first heard about podcasting, I was like, wait a minute, we can do our own show and we can put it out there and no one can say, yes, we can do the show or no, we can do the show or whatever. We can just make our own show. And that's exciting. And it's exciting to see what other people do with this. And I feel that same way about AI. Again, right now, my feeling is I would not generate something with, like I wouldn't have Suno write songs and then pass it off as my own or put it out there. But if I needed an improv track for Toily to sing along with during a live stream and John was not available, what's the harm? The harm is we don't know what that was trained on. I got it. I'm with you 100%. And I'm confident that that's all going to be worked out. And people who had their stuff, AI trained on their stuff, will hopefully, I hope, get justly compensated. But I think it's not going anywhere. And I think instead of avoiding it, see what it can do. And that's what I am doing right now. And I understand I have a lot of artist friends, and I may have artist friends who are listening to this who are furious with me right now. And I get it. Again, when I can pay someone to do something, I'm definitely going to do it. I commissioned someone to make stickers for the Late Night with Chucky crew. I would not do that with AI, right? Because that's a gift I'm giving. But right now, just for my own little projects, I'm having fun exploring. And I'm starting to like it a little bit more each time I use it. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Grant Cast. I want to thank you so much for being part of the show, because I do think you are part of the show. If you're still listening, even after I start singing the praises of AI, it is much appreciated. Thanks for listening, everybody. This episode of the Grantcast was edited by Stephen Staver, and this episode was made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a pledge for as little as $1 a month. Patrons at the behind-the-scenes level and above get access to a video recording of this show. And a big shout-out to all of our patrons, and a special shout-out to our patron producers, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, Brandy, David Akers, Paul, Scott Armstrong, Vicky Sebring, Ricky Chavez, Karina, Jeff Toro, and Lee Thompson. If you'd like to become a patron and receive episodes of the Grantcast before they are released, visit patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. And thank you for your support. This episode of the Grantcast is copyright 2024 Saturday Morning Media Grant Baciocco executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.